I mean, my goodness, when they say 9/10 of the golf swing is done after the setup, no joke. It really is. And I think people have a hard time understanding how crucial the setup actually is. What we found was we did not create the fixed points that we needed to turn around in our setup. The toes were in close. The hip joint was behind the ankle. The spine was too upright to start. And what that did for him was it also decreased the leverage between the lead arm and the golf club. You're this upright and you're going to turn back. I mean, that's the direction this is going to go. So what was nice was once I tilted him, he was able to turn his hands to the top of the swing and not do what you were doing, which was sitting back, no hinge, and lifting the arms up. And then, you know, vertical hands, guys, you can't rotate in your spine angle from there because you would come right over it and swing dead this way. So what do you do from here? You stand up in the posture that was already a little bit stood up to begin with. So what we're doing, what we're working on, a couple components here that everybody could do a little bit better. Setting up efficiently, really getting these hips over the ankles. You know, what I like him to do, we did it a couple ways. My mentor, Todd Soanes, used to have me go like this all the time, you know, right over the balls of my feet and step over it. That was a great way of being able to feel the pressure up in the balls of the feet, get my chest down. I like to have the hips and the ankles aligned and have players actually do this, tilt over their belt line, keeping it there. You'll see Cottle do that. I like that a lot. There's also just simply this, putting the club at your waist and just trying to keep the hips where they are, tilt over. And then what we're working on is flexing down, flexing into the balls of our feet, not flexing sitting back on the bar stool like last night.
It's sort of weird for me, and it feels very athletic, but it's weird for me to be, like, I almost feel like I'm kissing the ball compared to the way I was, because I was more in that linebacker position.
Yep.
And now I'm, so.
And I want the viewer to know, like, you guys, like, all we did the last 2 days is we worked hard on just perfecting the setup. That's all we did.
Let me ask you another question that I'll need to answer 2,000 miles away. that one little bump was the reason I started hitting better, that made me want to come out here before I saw Matt. But, you know, if I want to do the bump, like, I would bump and I would open it a little bit. Yeah. Okay, but even when I watch you do it, it looks like you're bumping, but you're going back a little bit to your heel.
Yeah.
Do I not want to do that? I mean...
No, so watch what I do. You don't want to open. You don't want to close. Watch what I do, though. I am bumping my hips back at a 45-degree angle because what I'm doing is I'm taking this femur right here, the ball and socket joint, and I'm putting it on top of my left leg.
See, right there, it looks like you're going back a little bit.
And you can watch this. Watch when I do this, though. See how I'm not actually sitting back in my heels? I'm still up in the balls of my feet. Yeah. It's just that what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of the typical overflex that everybody has and the sitting back look. I'm actually getting the heels back. I'm pushing my hips back over this line. So look from this angle, guys. Boom. And there's the space created underneath me. Watch this. Here's the bump just to the left. No. Just kind of awkwardly moves the body. Here's back in this direction, keeping the hips square. Okay, you can see it creates that post, it creates that brace, and that's what creates that spine angle to be able to make that better turn to the top.
I can tell what I felt I'd done forever, and it's why I didn't do it. Everybody talked about the reverse K. I would bump like this, and it'd take the whole body this way.
Kills the swing.
Yeah, and then I would take it back, and I feel like I was gonna hit behind it, so I just didn't do it. I would do it just to a little degree, but when I started keeping this parallel and bumping.
Yes. And here's the thing, stand up again.
And not open.
Stand up straight. Keeping this, guys, watch, dead still, now create that bump. And look at it. Without moving that spine angle is now in more of that K. That's the first thing Todd taught me. He goes, Adam, you have to understand.
The way they taught us before, and then, you know, it's just so hard not to hit behind it.
Yeah, so if you drop that right shoulder, you're in trouble. I mean, it really jacks up the swing. But yeah, you get in there like this. You leave this still. You keep those hips square. You bump forward, and there you go.
And I notice you're a little pigeon-toed, but it's okay for me to have this sprayed out.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you looked at the midpoint, they're actually pretty straight to a degree or two out. They kind of turn in a little bit, which makes me look pigeon-toed. But yeah, if you looked at Cam Sisk, you looked at a lot of my players, you will see very, very, very straight feet in both directions. You know, and that's because our players like hitting up against a firm left side, and really they have no problem rotating, okay? But, you know, for those out there who have a little bit of maybe some knee issues or whatnot, or need a little bit of freedom there to be able to rotate, I have no problem with starting neutral and kicking those out a couple degrees. Okay, and what that does for some people is it actually, helps the knees not get too much like this. I don't have any issues with that. Cam doesn't have any issues with that. We have no problem rotating, and you see that even here, there's no tension on my knee because I always am rotating back into that heel, and it comes up like that. I don't feel anything right here. But man, let me tell you, the people who are going like this, back and forth, and putting all the wear and tear on the sides and on the insides, that's the problem with your knees. I would just tell you, start neutral, kick it out a little bit. I think that's a nice way to monitor it. I don't like seeing people get like this. It's impossible to get your ball position correct, and it's horrible for aiming. And that's the main reason why we don't preach our players getting too much like this. It's like they have a hard time seeing between their heels and getting their ball position relative to the center of their body. It just makes everything a little bit quirky.
So where do you want the ball position relative to the center of the body?
So with a wedge, it will be directly underneath the center. With the driver, it's going to be off the left shoulder right here, and everything else lives in between. So when you're looking at a 7-iron right there, you're pretty much right just on the logo on your shirt right here, and that's going to be right here. Another big one is width of stance, you guys. Width of stance. How about the guy who sets up like this, and then everybody goes, "Hey, put that ball on the inside of your left heel." No. Ball position is relative to the center of your body and not your feet. Once again, a wonderful, wonderful Todd Sones tip to me when I was younger.
This helps. So keep the elbow on the chest so I know how far to be from the ball, and come in here like this.
God, so good.
Over the ball. I'm on my toes, and I bend the knees, and then bump.
It's awesome.
So to me, it feels like I'm almost kissing the ball.
Yeah.
But it feels athletic.
But for somebody who's been like this, sitting back, you guys, and the chest is up like that, he's gonna, when he backs those toes up and gets more over it, it feels like his chest is gonna do a face plant down to the ground. But this is great. So what he just mentioned a couple things, and let's go through the components of the setup real quick, okay? We have not the front, dead center, not the side where the seam on the shirt is. The midpoint between the two. That's where the elbow and the arm goes. I hold my right hand on the club where I would hold it typically. And simply stepping over the balls of my feet and tilting until that hits the ground, there's the distance from the golf ball that I want to be. And there's my right elbow, my right arm in the right spot. It's great, great, great too, because most people set up guys with open shoulders. Why? Think about if we were praying. The right hand goes lower on the club. Oh, shoulder open. Ball position ranges from middle in the stance to forward, so the more forward the ball position goes, the more open we are. But if you keep that arm there, not only do you get the right distance from the golf ball, and then the club will speak to you as to how far you should be from the ball, it also keeps your forearms and your shoulders very square with the rest of your body. He's doing a much better job today. Real quick, how crucial is the setup?
It's absolutely everything.
I'm going to get you on the speaker real quick because this guy's been a perfect example of this. He's a great player. He's a scratch player. But did you have rounds of golf like you did the last two recently?
Honestly, no. No, not even close.
Tell him about your last 2 rounds of golf. He came for a lesson the other day. You watched it. He comes out, and he just works. All we did was setup.
Best round of my life, honestly, was a bogey-free 66.
And all you did was run him through what you did.
What he just said, honestly, I've been getting that distance proper from the ball, getting my setup to very consistent, and then getting that hip bump. And from there, I just pulled the trigger. I mean, everything else I've been working on is just kind of falling into place.
We didn't say one thing about your golf swing
What were
the
you
entire
doing
lesson.
wrong, setting up wrong before that setup? What were you doing? I'm just
What
curious.
I was doing is sitting very far back, so if I can show you. I was just back.
Yeah, that was me.
When I was reaching, my plane was very, very flat.
Back and back. What I say about that is he was back and the hips were almost back this way a little bit. And all we did was get him over it and then shift those hips forward. It changed the whole low point of the swing, controlled the club face past the golf ball.
But we're all sort of taught that athletic position in all the other sports we play.
Oh yeah, baseball, I've been getting in there, getting ready, and it's just
we want the more Michael Phelps position. Who's about to dive off.
I like what he said. No, think
Michael
about that.
Phelps.
He said it's like you're getting ready to swim in the pool.
Linebacker.
Yeah.
Basketball player.
Not fielding a ground ball.
Shortstop.
Yeah, exactly.
But you want to be more Michael Phelps on the platform.
ready to push off with your foot, with your almost the front of your feet.
That's sort of right. Yeah.
It's 100%.
Yeah,
I
Robert
love that.
Baker told me that one time.
That's great.
But I sort of lost my way because I was trying to get like this so I could get back on this right heel and then get on a left heel. What I will say about these two, they both hurt me deeply because he told me I would never be good with my swing. And then I'm so proud that I broke 80 after a lesson, 78, and then he shoots 68.
Yeah.
I was very hurt. So I got sort of diced twice.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Well, not to make it feel any worse, it
even
was
though
a,
Chase
it was a
is such
66
nice guy,
actually.
he didn't rub it in 12 shots.
We identified a rehearsal that helped him, a way that he can work on it at the house, and just simple checkpoints in the setup. So he's got one for distance from the golf ball. He's got one right here for staying over it and playing golf underneath you, not around you. And the next one is the hip bump, which promotes the better turn. I mean, come on, bud. How about that move right there?
Yeah.
Kevin's back here just cracking up. He's like, well, what are you going to tell him for, Zach? I mean, he got you.
Look at those divots too.
I know. It's
What do you do when you hit it 2 inches left of your target?
yeah, just keep doing it, I guess. Don't worry. At Forzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.